3月25日、日本時間、ロサンゼルスの夜空の下で行われたドジャース対エンゼルスの一戦は、単なるオープン戦の最終章ではなかった。3月24日、米国時間、KTL 英語の中継が映し出したのは、新たなシーズンの扉を静かに押し開ける一人の男の姿だった。その中心に立っていたのが、大谷翔平である。この日の登板は、開幕前最後の調整。解説陣は、5、6イニング、75、80球という現実的な目標を語りながらも、彼の速球の威力や多彩な変化球、そして圧倒的な奪三振能力に驚嘆の声を隠さなかった。リーグのサイ、ヤング賞、まだ手にしていない栄光へ向けた静かな序章がそこにあった。番組内ではデーブ・ロバーツ監督も登場し、大谷の起用法について慎重な姿勢を示した。投手と打者という二重の役割を背負う彼の負担をどう管理するか。休養の取り方、登板間隔、シーズンを通したコンディション維持。そこには、勝利への野心と選手を守る責任が交差する指揮官の葛藤が見えた。さらに話題は、トーランスに描かれた新たな壁画へと広がる。日本とロサンゼルスを結ぶ文化の象徴として、大谷はもはや単なるスターではない。彼はコミュニティの誇りであり、時代の記憶そのものだ。この物語の続きを、ぜひ見届けてほしい。
Freeway Series exhibition here at Dodger Stadium, and then you rest up for Thursday and opening day. In the broadcast booth alongside Eric Karros, I'm Stephen Nelson. Kirsten Watson is with us next to the dugout as well. But EK, the big headline in this final spring outing is the final tune-up for Shohei Ohtani. Last time we saw him on the mound in a Dodger uniform this spring was about 6 days ago, 4 1/3 shutout.
For everybody else, just get through the game and get ready for Thursday. But Shohei, he's going to go out there and approach this like it's a start because this is a final tune-up. He hasn't logged a ton of innings this spring training, and this year he's going after something that he does not have yet, and that's a National League Cy Young Award, and it all starts this evening.
We are going to see him, you may be wondering, though, as he warms up on the field here at Dodger Stadium. How long will we see him for? Kirsten Watson has the answer.
Yeah, Stephen, well, the plan for Shohei, just to continue with that build-up. Dave Roberts was really pleased with what they saw in his last outing in Arizona. As you mentioned, being able to touch that 5th inning. So today, they're hoping he can get through 6. When it comes to the pitch count, they're looking at about 75 to 80 pitches. But for him, the focus is just continuing with that sequence and that command. He's in a very good spot getting ready for the regular season, guys.
Kirsten, somebody dropped the ball in the no-look fist bump tonight. Was looking for an encore. Didn't happen. But we do have an extra member of our broadcast crew. Dino Ebel, the Dodgers' third base coach, will be mic for sound for the whole game. So we got some good stuff in store for you when we get going after the break. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr.'s new Western Bacon Chicken Sandwich with freshly hand-breaded all-white meat and for just $5.99 for a limited time. And by your Southern California Lexus dealer. Invites you to test drive a Lexus today. The NLCS MVP, Shohei Ohtani, making his second and final start on the mound this spring as the Dodgers get him ready for the second series of the regular season when the Guardians come to town to face the Dodgers.
And it's sort of funny when you think about it. Shohei will be the quote-unquote 5th starter in this Dodger rotation. Just kind of talks about the riches that this organization has as far as talent. But it will be interesting just because I think this year there is a mindset of he wants to go out and accomplish something that he has yet to put on his resume, and that's a Cy Young Award. We saw him do it, you know, a few years ago with the stolen bases. He was going to get 50. He hit the 50 home runs. Going to get to the postseason and do some things there. It's almost as if he puts his mind to something. I mean, you'd be a fool to bet against it.
Last year, Ohtani made 18 total starts, 14 in the regular season, and then another 4 in the post. The last one, Game 7 of the World Series, just the second time in his career that he went on 3 days rest. Big swing against him, Bo Bichette's 3-run home run. Ultimately, the Dodgers were able to overcome that. A thrilling comeback win to cap off a second consecutive World Series title. Last Wednesday, the 18th of March, out in Arizona against San Francisco, Ohtani pitched 4 1/3 innings of shutout baseball. Walked 2, but he struck out 4. Did not see him pitch in the World Baseball Classic. He did have some live sessions, some bullpen sessions, but never pitched in a WBC game. Now he's back pitching here at Blue Heaven on Earth. His first pitch of the night to Zach Neto is ball one. Neto hitting .225 this spring in 17 games. Payoff. Got him swinging.
Put him away with a sinker, 95-mile-an-hour thing, and a great location. Just down out of the zone, but to Neto it looked like a strike, and he offered at it.
Could not script a better finish for the WBC. Unless, of course, you're Mike Trout. Unless you're Mike Trout. Then you get a home run, probably would have been. But you get the idea. Those two meeting against each other with the championship on the line. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. So Ohtani punches the ticket of Trout once more.
You know, it's interesting. You go back to that WBC. You see a similar thing here. Ohtani striking out Mike Trout. But, you know, you saw all the traction and all the fanfare that this WBC tournament got that just culminated. But again, you know, where did it really get going? Shohei Ohtani pitching for Samurai Japan. Again, it's whatever this guy gets involved with or touches, it takes off.
A 1.71 ERA at Dodger Stadium. A 3-2. Softly hit. Betts twirls and fires. Dug out at first. Oh, baby, what a play by Mookie. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. In the dirt. Check swing. And they say Adele could not hold up. So a punch out gives the Dodgers the first out of the inning.
Shohei throwing an assortment of pitches this evening. Got 3 strikeouts so far. All 3 have been on different pitches. Fastball, sinker, and a curveball.
Blows it by low at 99. Ohtani's 0-2. Sits him down. 3 straight Ks to strand the first 2 that reached.
8 weeks of it was not great.
Strike 3 called. First time through the order for Ohtani, 6 of 9. Second swing, did he? Yep. Another one. Puts him away with the sweeper.
Yep.
Ohtani strikes out the side. That is 6 in a row. The 1-1. And we get behind home plate into the seats, foul for a strike. Double digits. 10 Ks. Ohtani turns it up to 11. 11 strikeouts in the first 4 innings.
Dave, this spring with Shohei Ohtani being away from the team in the World Baseball Classic, when it came to just his pitching build-up, you guys weren't able to kind of see where he was at as hands-on. Just considering his last outing being able to touch the 5th inning, looking at tonight, how pleased are you just with where he's at in regard to his build-up as compared to the regular season?
Really pleased. I think you know that outing in Arizona, you saw the intent. The stuff was really good, very focused. I think for us tonight, if we can get him to get to the 6th inning, get up to 75, 80 pitches, that'd be a huge win, and just kind of have similar command and sequencing that he did in Arizona.
I mean, what's your sense for Shohei's desire to go wire to wire as a pitcher this And how ready do you think he is to do that? How realistic is it?
I think it's his desire is high to do that. I think it's very realistic to do that, with the idea that, you know, there's times to give him a little extra rest in between starts. And so I don't think anyone knows how that's going to look, but I think it's safe to say that it's not a situation as every sixth day, every seventh day he pitches. So I think that, yeah, so the desire's high. I think it's realistic. Then the bigger question is, how are we going to manage that and navigate it?
Well, will you kind of have to do that during starts too, with like how much leash you give him, pitch count, whatever? Like once he actually gets into games, will it kind of treat him like any other pitcher?
You know, I think that that's a good question. I think it's some of it is contingent on tonight. Some of it then is contingent on his first start in the season, and as the buildup is, and looking at each outing separately. But looking at each outing separately, stress, you know, all that stuff, the stuff, and then I think for us and coming out of it, you know, as far as off days, you know, what the schedule looks like, where potentially he would slot in for his next start. There's a lot of other variables that you really can't kind of answer right now. But I guess, Jack, once he gets going, managing him to win the game, but also just being mindful of, you know, the workload, what he's done, what he's capable of. So, you know, just like tonight, he's not going to get into the seventh inning. Could he, if he's efficient, could he get through six? Yes. You know, and then when you're talking about the first game of the season, could he get through sixth inning? Could he touch the seventh? Yes, but he won't touch the eighth inning. So there's got to be some responsibility as far as how we manage him, and then, you know, looking out the ensuing days.
How much bigger is the workload even from last year when he was kind of building up and coming back, like by the end of the season, just kind of doing two-way, like full time now?
Well, I think last year it was easier in the sense of it was one inning, it was two innings, and then you slowly got to build up, so there wasn't much of a tax on the hitting. I think now, you know, even tonight where we're looking at 5-6 innings, there's more of a tax to throw 75 pitches versus one inning. But I do feel that he's strong. He's conditioned to do it mentally, physically. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it looks. But I think that it is different. You know, like I've said a couple of times, this is just a different jumping off point than we had last year. But I think it's a good thing.
If he's good spacing out, Shohei starts, the off days will help. But do you feel like it's a little more complicated given having Robusky as a piggyback role, Roby struggles, and the players that are going to start through on the IL? It doesn't seem like there's a ton of flexibility outside of the off days. Yeah,
that's fair. And I say that, and with that, that's part of the, you know, the thought as far as not getting too far into the weeds, that you have to be able to make him make starts, you know, so to kind of push somebody, you know, to get extra time off, Shohei in this particular case might not make as much sense, because you got to make starts, right? Because you have to have Justin backfill some guys, and at some point Justin's going to make starts too. So, but there is a little nuance to this whole thing when you got, you know, guys that are injured right now that we don't have a lot of support right now in the starting staff. So we got to protect those guys too.
If Shohei just shows that he can make those regular starts, do you think that automatically puts him in the Cy Young conversation?
Oh yeah, because of just talent and ability, will. If he does that, he'll be in the conversation, absolutely. I have no doubt about that.
When you're looking at the rest between starts for Shohei, especially later in the year, will offensive performance dictate any of that? Like if it's looking like he's tiring in some form or fashion, and maybe you're seeing it late, would that have any effect on deciding how much rest to give between starts?
Fair question. Yeah, I think that's that should be part of the thought process. Yeah, that should be part of the thought process, as well as, are there days where he might need a day off, at bat. So, but yeah, that's a fair question. Yeah.
Did you guys consider for him maybe early in the season?
Not right now. I know that he really loves to hit, and so I think until we see or learn otherwise, if it's compromised at all, if ever, then I think we'll just kind of move forward.
Yeah, I know you've got some distance from Rocky's last start. Anything more clear in terms of what the work needs to look like there to get him ready for his first start this season?
It's not a drawing board situation. I do think that he and Mark had some really good conversations yesterday, which I think was a good thing. And kind of doing a deep dive on kind of just being an athlete, just pitching. And I think there's a little bit potentially with Roki getting a little too over analytical about things, which is taken away from his natural athleticism. So we're going to have some conversations, and I know that we do have the trust with Roki, and I think that he was frustrated like we all were, and I do expect him to be better. He needs to be better, like I said last night.
There's kind of the hope that a regular season environment will kind of almost force him to get away from the over-analytical thing more, to just going out there and competing.
That's the hope, but I do think that we have to, as a staff, as an organization, and most importantly him, you've got to believe that, because, it is about getting outs once the season starts and getting some length in your starts. So, but it's my job, it's our job to make him understand how important that is.
Dave, obviously, Will, a catcher, he's about as good as you can hope for as a catcher in the major leagues. Is there a plan for their playing time this season? Is there a chance Dalton gets a little bit more at bats, or are you still set on the pattern you used last week?
Not beholden to anything yet. Obviously, Will's going to get the lion's share. Not sure. Dalton is, needs to play, wants to play. I liked his at bat yesterday. Ball to right center field, the double. But yeah, Will's our starting catcher, and so I'm not going to just compromise Will's playing time just because we have a young up and coming guy. So we'll see. I think it's going to be fluid. If I see Will being taxed a little bit or certain stretch of games, certainly. But it's up mine to get Dalton in at bat, so for sure. But honestly, I don't really know how it's going to look right now.
Dave, who's impressed you the most this spring?
Would you say the guys on breaking with us, or would you say guys that are not breaking with us?
Not breaking.
Pitcher or hitter?
Let's do both.
All right. I think on the position player side, Tibbs and Earhart, I think have been very impressive. I think Noah Miller was very impressive. I like Alfonso Lizer. I think he's been impressive. I think he's got baseball in him. And then these young outfielders. I think that Morales at short. I think Quintero in the outfield. I think those guys have really impressed me, opened my eyes. On the pitching side, pitching side a little bit tougher. Campos. I think Campos has been really, it wasn't even his best one last night, but I think Chris Campos has really shown me a lot. I think Cobb has shown a lot, shown really well. There's some other guys, but it really nothing that really stands out right now.
Dave, the Dodgers officially announced a partnership with Red Bull today. How excited do you think the guys are going to be to have more Red Bulls in the dugout this season?
I think they're going to be thrilled. I think it's great. As long as there's some sugar-free Red Bull for me, that's great. I'm glad there was a partnership forged, and I saw the Red Bull in the dugout. Great decision.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Exciting new artwork is celebrating the world champion Dodgers.
Famed muralist Robert Vargas has depicted some of the star pictures on the side of a hotel in Torrance. It is being unveiled next hour, but this hour, Robert joins us live to talk all about it. Robert, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're good. How are you? It's always good to see you. And obviously, Don didn't paint.
Yes.
But Robert, we're always so impressed with your work and what you do on such a grand scale. But how did you decide on this piece right here and which Dodgers that you would showcase?
Well, it took me about 1.5 years to get this mural here in Torrance. Torrance, I decided, would be the destination because of the demographic. It's the largest concentration of Japanese in North America. It also happens to be the friendship city to Yamamoto's hometown of Bizen and Ohtani's hometown of Oshu, which I have actually 2 murals there as well.
Brother Robert, it's Frank here. You're calling this, I believe, Samurai.
Hey, Frank, good morning.
Good morning. I believe you're calling it Samurai of the Diamond. Tell me about that cultural bridge and why that's important for you to talk about the Japanese Americans, all of us here in Southern California and Japan.
Yes, well, this is a follow-up to my LA Rising mural featuring Shohei Ohtani, which I painted 2 years ago to kick off the season. If that mural was about ushering a new era in Los Angeles sports, this mural is about celebrating the collective of ambassadors, if you will, of Japanese foreign-born players, and to show that foreign-born players are not only contributing to the team, but the community, and of course to this country. These players are a great example of how to do things right on and off the field, and I believe allyship is really important. And it's been great to see everyone's reaction and the pride that's beaming from everyone. I'm looking at about 20 people right now who are all done in Dodger gear, excited to see the unveiling.
Okay, Robert, this is several stories high. It's a big undertaking. How do you actually do this? Because when we've talked to you before, you say you kind of freestyle these murals, which is
freehand.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, how?
Yeah, I've always worked this way. It's a manner of me just kind of eyeballing things and really going off of my intuition. So it's freehand brushwork, no grids, no projections.
Wow.
But when you are have great I think intention, then the content is great as well.
Well, we cannot wait to see the unveiling. Once again, as I've said many times, you are a treasure for all of us in Southern California. We are so lucky to have you, and thanks for doing this once again in this meaningful way for all of us. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Robert.
All right, man.
All
Good
the
to see
best.
you. Yeah.
Can't wait to see.
Oh.
But it's always so, a lot of times when you see artwork of a person, you're like, that doesn't quite look,
yeah,
but every time you're like, that looks exactly.
It captures the
As you
essence.
said, it's intuition. He's just standing up there and he's like, nah, it doesn't quite. But if you've seen him work, it's just he's just constantly moving, and at such scale.
Incredible skill.
Yeah. I mean, we look at it and go, oh, that's nice. Can you imagine?
No.
He's taking the side of the DoubleTree Hotel and making it a piece of artwork.
I know.
No offense to the DoubleTree Hotel people, usually.
I love the DoubleTree. They give out cookies, I think.
Also, he's so chill and cool and not like pretentious.
Yes.
It's such a neat thing to see him at that scale, that level of ability, without being like, just being a cool guy. You want to hang out with.
Love him.
I know.
I was thinking the same thing. Great ambassador himself, by the way, right? So.